and 94.5 FM. Jason Minix, the Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to be back, sort of. He's James Pledger producing as always, and you might hear a lot of him today because I'm playing hard. I ain't going to lie to you. I mean, the last couple of days have just flat out sucked. I don't have COVID. My COVID test was negative, but a severe summer cold is what the doctor called it. And, you kind of fight through it, and then you do, things trying to get better and get back to work. But, in this era of COVID, you catch a cold and it scares the hell out of you. And that's where I'm at now. And then, it's all in your throat. You're for me, it's a lot of coughing and a lot of phlegm. So if that starts happening during the show, if you're watching, you're going to get one hell of a show. And if you're listening, I apologize. If you're old school San Antonio radio, it's going to be my homage to the great legendary Ricky Ware. You might get a lot of Ricky Ware radio today. Love the man, everything that I learned from him back in the days at KTSA, but and how to cough through a sentence. Nobody did it better than Ricky Ware. I will give it my best attempt this afternoon. Although Pledge, I know that hot tea is supposed to be good for your throat.
I'm not a tea person.
And I'm not a hot drink person. But, like Rob Thompson, credit Rob Thompson. That guy has pulled a couple of marathons a couple of days in a row. I know by 6 o'clock yesterday, that dude had to sound just punch drunk, right? And I've told him, no, I'm going to go. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to go. And, I hate missing anyway. But I just didn't want to have to put him through another ringer. So earlier, my niece was like, well, why don't you drink some hot tea and honey? And I was like, I don't like hot drinks. And in the spirit of Ted Lasso, hot tea sucks. I don't know any dude that likes hot tea. And so she rummages through the pantry, and she's like, well, which flavor do you think you're going to want? Orange spice? That sounds awful. Chamomile or chamomile or however you say the chamomile, however you say that. Which actually isn't bad. There's one English tea time. What the hell does that mean? That just sounds Ted Lasso bad.
That's British.
And if you've been watching Ted Lasso, you know how vanilla chai tea, an exotic blend of vanilla flavor. None of these sound good. None of these sound good. Then you add the honey to it. But you do what it takes to get back out on the field. So, Camille tea it is, and it's gross.
Well, the good news is this is your Toradol shot, basically.
Well, kind of. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do, and, you kind of stomach through it. Between the tea and a ton of Gatorade, I have either been sleeping or peeing for the last couple of days because, what do they say when you're sick? Hydrate and sleep. The only problem is when you drink a lot, and I mean Gatorade. I mean, this is Wednesday. Yingling beer went on sale in San Antonio Monday, and I've yet to have any. I have yet to go to a bar to get me a good old glass of Yingling. I feel so left out and so behind, yet I've been sick as a dog.
I'm just glad. I know there's a pane of glass between us. If you would be here, but you were courteous enough to stay in the Minix mansion and do what you got to do.
Working from home. It is one of the advantages of working from home is you can play sick and still go in. I would not, in this era of COVID, I would not come in. Pre-COVID, I would be in the building today, muscling through it. I've done that before. I can't do that anymore. Like it just doesn't feel right. It's one of those, it's like going and getting the COVID test again. As a vaccinated guy and a guy that's married to a nurse, because my wife was like, I don't think this is COVID. You just have a cold. I'm like, yeah, but I think I need to go get tested just to be sure. All right, go get tested. And, Excuse me. I think this is about the 10th COVID test I've had, and all of them have been negative, which is good. I'm excited about that. But we hear about all the breakthrough cases now, and I know being vaccinated, that doesn't prevent me from getting COVID, but I know there's concerts I've got on the docket coming up. Friday night next week in California. I got to get healthy. I mean, not necessarily just come back to work, but I got to get healthy so I can go on vacation. I mean, let's be honest about things. I mean, that's the reality, is it not?
Well, you should take the week off to rest up for your vacation.
I thought about that. I really did think, just one more day, and then I come back to work on a Thursday or come back to work on a Friday. But, I hate missing time. I really do. And, at some point, we know Rob's going to get sick. And there's going to be a phone call that says, do you want to do a 7 a.m. show? And the answer is going to be no. Rudy J can handle that himself. Rudy and Carl can do that.
Well, he's either going to get sick or he's going to throw out his back. It's one of the two.
Oh,
he's got two go-tos.
It is guaranteed. I mean,
or his tooth.
The back. Well, see, the problem is
he hadn't done the dentist in a while.
Well, I think the dentist has everything fixed up. He's run out of teeth to complain about. I mean, honestly, I think all the stuff he went through kind of fixed all his teeth. So that excuse is gone.
For now.
So now it's literally just his back or a cold. What bothers me is, this is my second summer cold that I've had to deal with. And as many vitamins and all the stuff that I take to try to avoid it and avoid COVID, this is the second summer cold. But I was asking the doctor, as he was telling me that, your COVID test is negative, you're good to go. It's like, how do I catch a cold and not COVID? And he said, well, one, you're vaccinated. But two, as people are going out and trying to get back to normal, all the things that existed pre-COVID are still there, but your body hasn't had to fight them for a long time. So that kind of opens up some of your weaknesses to them. And, he's like that, when with flu season coming and everything else, washing your hands and, in certain areas you want to mask up. But, because your body hasn't been exposed to it because you've quarantined for so long, now you're kind of opening yourself up to it a little bit, which I guess makes sense. Sure. I mean, you're just the unlucky one that catches a summer cold. But I've heard from a lot of people here recently that they've been battling it too. And same thing, feel sick, negative COVID test. It's the normal stuff that's out there.
I mean, it makes sense. If your body hadn't had to fight it off, that it wouldn't be used to fighting it off again. So there's something to be said about being out, but we haven't been supposed to be out.
No, we can be out now.
Well, I've been out.
You've been out. Look, let's face it. I am one that has been out. I go do things. I try to be as precautious as I can, which is part of the reason why when I didn't feel good, I wanted to make sure I went and got a COVID test. Just got a cold, no COVID. All right, let's carry on and move about our life. But it is nice to be back. But if I start hacking in the middle of a segment, apologize in advance. Pledge is going to stay ready. Because you never know. Sometimes if you're watching on YouTube or on the Facebook Live, you wonder what Pledge is doing back there. So he's got to be ready to go now. You want to be a part of the show? What? What? Yeah.
I'll kind of be ready.
You kind of be. Well, whatever.
I'll check in on you.
Yeah, we'll hack up together. I mean, it's part of it. That word, I know we're training Edwin back there. Edwin, apparently, I've been out sick, and, he joined the conversation. I didn't know we hired. I knew we hired somebody. I didn't know he was training. I had not met Edwin before. And I was talking with you earlier and not paying attention to the screen. I looked up, and Edwin was standing there, and I'm like, wow, Pledge, you've changed. That's how I met Edwin, who graduated from UT Arlington, Johnson High School grad, 2014. So he's, we might have to throw Edwin into the game early. Nothing wrong with that.
There we go.
No, I mean, look, man.
Trial by fire. That's the best way to do things. I in my
Look, I mean, if you're watching on TV, you see Edwin is getting as close to the microphone as he can coming over your shoulder. I mean, almost to the creepy status, which tells me this is a kid ready to go. Right? You ready to go, Edwin? Maybe?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's ready to go. Feel the confidence in that. I mean, so if I start hacking up two left lungs, Edwin and Pledge will get you through the segment. I mean, that's ultimately what we're going to have to do is bear with it today. All
and
right,
of course, they can call in on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines if they want. 656 ESPN, 656-3776.
There you go. Or tweet us at Jason Minix. He is at I am a Pledger. Being sick sucks. We all know that. So does hot tea and honey, but you have to get through what you have to get through. Lots to talk about today here on the Blitz. Of course, we'll dive into Hard Knocks from last night. You know, I look at Hard Knocks, and this season, through 2 episodes, featuring America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, boring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after the first episode, I think I was the only one that was like, this sucked. You know, everything I've seen, oh, this is great. Oh, yeah. No. And last night, Hard Knocks got back to a little bit of what I appreciate about Hard Knocks, the incredible video, the slow motion hitting, all that that was great. Telling me stories about guys that aren't going to make the team, like that Kamara guy. Funny stuff, you know, Zeke and his dry glutes and the fact that trainers apparently keep baby powder on hand for that. Those NFL trainers, they are prepared for anything. Guy talks about, man, my butt feels dry. You got any baby powder? I can't have it. Sure, let's go. It's right here in the bag. CeeDee Lamb has a candle fetish. Always likes to smell good. Cool. We got into some of that. But what we don't have with this team is with last night's episode, through 2 episodes, is the drama that normally comes with Hard Knocks. At least he had some of that in the first episode because we were seeing what was happening with Dak's arm. Last night, they kind of stayed away from it. Zeke still continues to be kind of the star of the show. Certainly a guy that would be fun at parties. But this lacks the drama that you expect from the Dallas Cowboys. And that's exactly what Mike McCarthy wants. No doubt about it. That's exactly what Mike McCarthy wants. We'll talk about Hard Knocks. If you've been watching ESPN at all today, they're going through their fantasy football marathon. Amazing how they have the Dallas Cowboys ranked. Dak Prescott ranked as the 4th highest rated fantasy quarterback. Zeke, the 5th running back. The wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb at 12, Amari Cooper at 15, Michael Gallup at 40. The tight end, Jarwin, is at number 23. Kicker, Zerline, is at number 9. And we don't even know if he's going to play. The Cowboys just signed a kicker today with a name you can't pronounce on a 2-year deal for a training camp leg. And yet you're going to tell me Greg the Leg is going to be ready for game 1? The defense, you don't even draft the Cowboys defense in fantasy football. That's what I learned today watching ESPN. That Cowboys offense is going to be incredible this year. All the fantasy experts are looking at this offense as being one that is going to put up a ton of numbers. A ton. But is that a good thing? You know, do you want Dak to throw for 6,000 yards? Can Zeke get the if he's the 5th best running back in the league, is he going to get the carries or the overall touches? You want a balanced attack. Those wide receivers, you look at, I've been telling you, CeeDee Lamb is the best athlete on that team. I said that, and Oxnard and Pledge looked at me funny. Now that you've seen 2 weeks of Hard Knocks, I think Hard Knocks is telling you that as well. Amari Cooper needs to get back on the field, and he's there now. He's going to play against Houston on Saturday night in that preseason game. Not sure if Dak is going to play, but you look at that offense. The defense doesn't have to be good. They got to be better than they were last year. But they don't have to be great. But you look at the addition of Micah Parsons, they are going to be better. But this offense could be ridiculous. And when you see all the fantasy talk about what this offense can be, and then you go back to something that Dak Prescott said last week that I think is very important. Even though with those receivers, he's going to be capable of putting up 6,000 yards, Dak Prescott said last week he doesn't want to put up 6,000 yards.
I don't want to throw for 6,000 yards, to be honest with you. That means we're not running the ball. That means we're not probably doing the things that we need to do to be a balanced winning team. Sure, it'd be great to have those numbers and to break that, or to have that record or whatever it is, but that's not something that I put into my head. As I say, I want to be the best offense in the NFL, and I think the best way we can do that is if I'm not throwing that many yards. And our run game is working. We're playing complementary football, and we're winning a lot of games. And I think if that's the case, then hopefully I'm not playing as many fourth quarters trying to come back and do the 2-minute drills we're doing in those first 5 games. They got me a lot of those numbers.
Yeah, and there's a lot of truth there. But I think the other part of it, too, is maybe less of Zeke is better in the sense of he's a runner that gets stronger as the game goes on. And you want him to have 15, 20, 22, 23 carries a game, right? But if he's effective and explosive early, then you get the passing numbers, and he's still strong and explosive late. You mix in Tony Pollard, from a fantasy perspective, somebody's going to get a lot of yards. 1 week it might be your guy. 1 week it might be the next. But even watching, Hard Knocks last night, just hearing Dak Prescott talk about how easy it is to throw the ball to CeeDee Lamb, that he's able just to run under it. It's going to be a pretty incredible season offensively for the Cowboys, with the caveat if they stay healthy. We'll talk a lot about Hard Knocks and the Cowboys coming up. There was some news today about Dak Prescott. I don't think it's overly alarming, but Mike McCarthy?
I mean, Dak's status is, I would guess, continue to classify it as limited. We'll just continue the throwing regimen and keep building up the volume.
So at this point, with this being the last added practice, is it fair to say he won't play?
Oh, there's a good chance he probably won't play. That's fair.
It's fair. I mean, at this point, does that surprise you that as they bring Dak Prescott back along, I want him to play in the preseason. I want to see him get some live fire, but if he doesn't, I'm not going to lose my mind over it. Dak wants to play in the preseason. If he doesn't, I don't think he's going to lose his mind over it. Mike McCarthy has to answer those questions every day. What I find comical is I hear Mike McCarthy say it, but when you just read it on tweets, it seems so alarming. Oh, Dak Prescott limited again. Well, he's been limited, and he's going to stay limited. Is he going to play Saturday? I think Dak Prescott is going to lobby to play Saturday. The question is, how much will the coaches protect Dak from Dak? And the one thing that we have learned from Hard Knocks, maybe more so than any other interviews that we've heard about Dak Prescott, is the off-mic, off-podium conversations about protecting Dak from Dak. Last night on Hard Knocks, Mike McCarthy and former New Braunfels Unicorn Cliff Kingsbury having a pregame conversation.
How's the guy doing? 4.
Good.
Good.
Just got to kind of wind him back up with the throwing regimen, but he'll be fine.
He's such a stud human, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you just got to, he's all go all the time.
You
got to slow him down a little bit.
Yeah.
So, he's a great guy.
Great guy. Cliff Kingsbury calling him a stud human, which is great. But Mike McCarthy, but man, he's all go all the time. I got to slow him down. So you know damn well that Dak is lobbying to play more. You saw in Hard Knocks last night, when he had to stop practice. They got me on a pitch count. Good work, boys. That's Dak Prescott. He wants to play. He said here on the Blitz he wants to play. I want to see him get some live fire action prior to Tampa Bay's defense. If Mike McCarthy and that coaching staff thinks he's going to be okay, all right. Do I want to see it? Absolutely. Is it worth the risk? I think it is. If Tom Brady can play in the preseason, then I think Dak Prescott can, but only if it's going to benefit him in the sense of if his arm still isn't right, 100%, you take care of that in the preseason, because in reality, I don't need to see an August snap if that's going to cost me a January snap. And that's the way the Cowboys are looking at it right now. Some might argue it doesn't matter against Tampa Bay. You're not going to win that game one way or the other. The fact that Jerry Jones has even talked about, yeah, we're the underdogs in that one. We're set up to lose. We're going to start off 0-1, but we'll be okay. We've got 16 more. It's an interesting attitude for the Cowboys. So we'll see if he plays against the Texans on Saturday. Still up in the air, but looking doubtful at this point. You know who we won't see in that game, Cowboys-Texans on Saturday night? Deshuan Watson. The Deshuan Watson news continues, and we're at the point now where we have lawyers trying everything in the news. So today, Rusty Hardin, he has a press conference because Tony Busby was in the news the other day. And I don't know. Part of this just feels icky. And I'm not a lawyer, but you just feel like both sides, they're trying to sway court of public opinion. And the court of public opinion at this point isn't going to change. It's what goes on in court and what happens in settlements and what the NFL decides to do. With everything that you've read about Deshaun Watson's actions, and there's 22 different examples, whether he broke a law or crossed the line or whatever you think, whatever you're hearing from these lawyers, I don't think is going to change too much. Yet both lawyers are blaming the other for trying this thing in the news.
And he wants to leverage his civil lawsuits. He wants out of those civil lawsuits. He knows those lawsuits have no future in the long run. But he wants to go out there and promote himself in the lawsuits and try to get Deshaun to settle them, to pay them the money so he can ride into the sunset. Now, I don't quarrel with people covering or anything, but what I'm saying simply is, if you guys shut down and nobody heard Tony Busby's name or said it for 30 days, there would be a new allegation and a new piece of information he shouldn't be talking about in order to gin it back up.
So it was trying to say, Tony Busby is just trying to generate all this news. And Rusty Hardin, Deshaun's lawyer, saying this stuff shouldn't be tried in the media. It shouldn't. That's it. This should all be private. But then he goes and he shares a text message between one of the accusers and Deshaun.
If you remember, the whole tone of these issues changed in March. There was a lawsuit by a woman named Ms. Solis. Then there was another lawsuit, and the third lawsuit, for the first time, alleged some type of force and very, very descriptive language as to how mortified she was and how upset she was. The woman's name is Shanae Lawson. Shanae Lawson is not a woman that has made a criminal complaint, but she's certainly sued. And if you look at her petition, it is very graphic as to how horrible this experience was and how she was harmed. She is the woman that is being looked at as far as an investigation for federal authorities and how she went about this. Well, let me just read to you. If you look at that petition, I'm going to read to you text messages that she sent to Deshaun Watson the very day after the massage that she says so traumatized her and that she's talked to people about. Hey, Deshaun, so the massage was that morning. Hey, Deshaun, just wanted to say thank you for trusting me with your massage today. I'll be here till January the 3rd if you'd like to get another one. And I urge you to go look at that petition and see if that email or text, rather, is consistent with her petition.
That's Deshaun's attorney, Rusty Hardin. After talking about Busby shouldn't be trying things in the news, drop something like that. The one thing he does say is that they're just going to continue to cooperate with everybody that wants to talk to Deshaun.
We will continue to cooperate with them in any way they want. We have from the first cooperated with the Houston Police Department, cooperated with the District Attorney's Office, and we'll cooperate with the FBI, and ultimately, down the line, we'll cooperate with the NFL. because we know Deshaun has done absolutely nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong. We'll talk more about the Deshuan Watson situation with Sarah Barshop, who covers the Houston Texans for ESPN, and she's been at all of these hearings. We'll get the latest from Sarah coming up at 6 o'clock. Maddy Skye from the San Antonio Express News will join us coming up next here on The Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. You know, if you're going to fire up the grill, you want to get some great sausage on that grill, and you know that there's nothing better than Kielbasa smoked sausage. But what you need to know about Kielbasa, they're a great San Antonio company. While they're a national brand, they're made here in San Antonio, and they take care of their hometown. In fact, this year alone, Kielbasa has donated more than 2 tons of sausage to the San Antonio Food Bank, and they're donating premium sausage with a special label designed to provide encouragement to people who may be experiencing hard times. They call this their Links of Love program, and through this program, Kielbasa hopes to nourish people in need through local food banks and disaster relief efforts. So when you enjoy Kielbasa, you know you can feel great that not only are you enjoying some of the best sausage available, you're also helping them support our community. Learn more about Kielbasa's Links of Love program on their website, kielbasa.com. And again, you're going to fire up the grill. Make sure you get in and get some Kielbasa today.
ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
I'm James Pledger, and in the NFL, Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy said today that Dak Prescott would be unlikely to play in Saturday's preseason game against the Houston Texans. In other Cowboy news, they also added kicker Liram Hajmaralu. Greg Zuerlein's dealing with a back injury, but is expected to play in Week 1, so Liram provides an insurance policy. In Major League Baseball, the Texas Rangers fell 3-1 to the Seattle Mariners in their series opener. A series will continue tonight from Globe Life Field. You can catch that game right here on your home for Rangers baseball, San Antonio Sports Star, starting at 6:30 with the pregame, with first pitch set for 7:05. The Astros fell 3-1 to the Kansas City Royals as they've dropped the first 2 games in that series. They'll continue things tonight from the Juice Box with first pitch set for 7:10. Well, finally, the San Antonio Missions took their series opener in Corpus against the Hooks 5-1, a series they continue tonight with first pitch set for 6:35. I'm James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
You know, injuries do happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need to know about Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries, and he has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There's no reason for you to be in pain. If you're hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. You can call for an appointment by dialing 210-804-5490, 804-5490, or learn more online at tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com.
If you've been hurt in a crash, do your research. You'll find plenty of lawyers out there. They'll probably do a fine job, but ask yourself, is fine really good enough for you and your family? Don't leave your case to chance. Contact Thomas J. Henry today. San Antonio, Texas.
Great news, Slackers! Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar is now opening at noon 7 days a week at all 4 area locations. North Star, St. Mary's, Slackadoches, and the Medical Center. Slackers is the home for 7-day-a-week happy hour, now starting at noon every day. And by popular demand, Slackers brings back the signature frozen drinks. Bring a date, bring a crew, or come on down solo. Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar serves you up all your favorites and quenches your thirst 7 days a week, starting every day at noon. Visit slackersbarsa.com for more info.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
You've been tucked in long enough. Tucked into your home. Tucked into your virtual happy hours. Whatever that means. But finally, you can untuck. Untuck a new romance. Untuck a cold one enjoyed by a roaring bonfire. Untuck whatever you damn well please. And if you want to look good while doing it, untuck with a shirt made for this moment. Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Find your perfect fit at untuckit.com or one of 80 plus Untuck It stores nationwide. Use code SUNNY for 20% off your first purchase.
Today on Hey Culligan, soft water, cleaner environment. What do you say, Greg?
Hey Culligan, are you saying if I have a Culligan high-efficiency water softener, I'm also helping the environment?
It sounds like you're saying it, Greg, and yes, you are, because with the Culligan high-efficiency water softener, you'll use less detergent, soap, and harsh chemicals, and that's good for the planet.
Now you're saying it.
You bet I am, Greg. Soft water and a cleaner environment is already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
The play is in. The Blitz with Jason Minix and Sports Insiders. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Looking at what's going on in the city of San Antonio. It's Maddy Skyline. Yeah, it's Maddy Skyline.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. I hear the Maddy Skyline music. I don't see Maddy on the screen. Is she on the phone?
I'm running late today. Yes, I am trying to get on as soon as possible.
All right. So last week you get promoted. So you're now the food and culture editor of the San Antonio Express News. And now you're running late. Is it all those management meetings piling up now?
I did have a lot of meetings today, but I think it was just like your usual busy Wednesday. Plus you all called earlier than usual today.
Okay. Well, and again, that's part of it. See, I thought you were, either no video generally means either you're running late, you didn't do your makeup, you're not feeling well, or all of the above.
No, I just was running late today.
All right, because I got to admit,
I'm on the camera.
Oh, Pledge just has to punch you up, see if he's paying attention. Yep. Bring you in, because I got to admit, Maddy, and this is where I really need to talk to you today. I've been sick for a couple of days. A horrible summer cold. COVID test was negative, but when you don't feel good in 2021, you scares the hell out of you, so you get tested just to be safe, right? So my niece earlier was like, well, drink some hot tea and honey, and that will make your throat feel better. The problem is, how do you decide what hot tea you're going to drink? Because all the names are stupid. None of the names of the box of hot teas that she pulled out sound appetizing. How do you decide what hot tea you want to drink?
I'm not a big tea person either, but I think like chamomile sounds pretty good, right? Is that a tea?
Yeah, and that's what I'm drinking, because orange spice doesn't sound good. The chamomile, is that what you just called it? Chamomile or whatever. French vanilla just seems generic. There was another one that I have no idea. This one says constant comment. What the hell does that mean when you're trying to figure out what kind of tea that is?
Day in the life with me, constant comment.
I mean, flavored with rind of oranges and sweet spice. The hell?
Oranges and spices. I like hibiscus mint, but that's iced tea. But I'm sure you can get it hot.
Yeah, well, I just go with what's in the box. English tea time sounds awful. Like none of these sound good. None of them taste good. I don't like hot drinks to begin with, but damn it, it works. My throat is feeling better.
You sound A-okay.
Well, good, because I'm probably going at about 60% right now, but it's part of it. So when you don't feel well, what kind of weird home remedies do you use?
I guess Vicks. That's not weird, but a lot of people put Vicks on. I usually just whine and complain and sleep.
Well, that's because I admit I become the biggest baby, and I'm very helpless when I don't feel
Yeah,
well.
it sounds like that. You're getting mad about teeth.
It's gross. Well, I mean, I'm helpless. I'm helpless. The last 2 days I've done nothing but sleep and whine. Honestly, so it's today I'm feeling better, so I'm only whining a little bit, but it is pathetic that as a grown ass man I can't take care of myself when I don't feel good.
Well, I'm sorry you're not feeling good or feeling well.
Yeah, thanks. You're like, what did I jump on to today? I should have. I'm running late, and this is what we're doing. All right, Maddy Skye. What's I saw on my essay that we're getting a popular cafe coming to San Antonio. I've never heard of Kirby Lane. What is this?
Yeah, I think I've heard of it. I've never been. Unlike Portuguese tacos, I think I'm willing to give this one a try because it's comfort food. They're not claiming to be the best tacos or have the best tacos. So from what I've heard, it's a very popular cafe in Austin, and they actually have some in like Round Rock, and I think they're opening one in San Marcos as well. But it's coming to San Antonio. I haven't been able to speak to the representatives that are in charge of marketing and media, but some filings that we found show that it is expected to be completed, the building at least, in March 2022. So you assume that once you get staff trained and all the furniture moved in, it'll probably open maybe like summer, late spring. So it's supposed to open at the Rim near Velvet Taco, which is another, I think, Dallas export. I think Velvet Taco is from Dallas. And I think there's a Torchy's up there too. So if you miss Austin and you're living in San Antonio, you can go up there and get your food.
Well, that's it. Now, if it's going to be over there by the Velvet Taco, have you been to Velvet Taco yet?
I have.
Yeah, you're hesitant there because you're going to say, or you don't want. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was all that good for all the hype. It just didn't live up to the billing. I mean, I waited in line. You get there. I've gone twice because the first time you go, okay, well let's just see. I've gone twice. I don't understand the attraction of Velvet Taco.
I think maybe it's those what do they want to call them, like creative infusion tacos. I had one that was like basically a deconstructed sushi roll. It was like their their taco of the week, and that was okay. But I mean, if I want a sushi roll, I could just go get sushi.
Well, that's it. But like Torchy's is good. If you're gonna, for overpriced, I don't mind Torchy's. There's a couple on there that I like, and I like their queso. Velvet, I was just like, yeah, none of them did anything for me. And you kind of roll your eyes at Torchy's, huh?
I don't. No comment. Everybody knows how I feel about Torchy's, but.
Oh, apparently I didn't. Sorry, I must have missed something.
I don't know. If I'm gonna eat a good taco, I'd rather go to,
Well, I agree. I agree. There's a lot of places to go get better tacos for a much better price. But if somebody was to, although on Facebook Live, Scott Vela says Kirby Lane is a 24/7 breakfast food. All right, well that's a good plus.
I just recently had breakfast for dinner on Monday night. It was so good. Oof. It was like level cheddar, but homemade. It was delicious.
Every now and then, breakfast at dinner is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it all the time, but every now and then, that is perfect. Well, we could continue with overpriced tacos. But what else is happening in the news?
Let's see. I'm kind of blanking. I wrote quite a bit today. Let me see. What did I write? We spoke for the Kirby Lane. There's a new district councilman, and Mickey Rodriguez, and he is installing a new mural. He's doing a mural, which I thought was cool, in his field office of Reverend Claude Black. And it's all part of this initiative. He wants to see more art on the east side, depicting the east side history. So that was a really cool story that I wrote. I have a story coming today about the zoo and how the zoo is paying back their employees the money that they lost during the shutdown.
And let's talk about that for a second, because I saw Tim Morrow post the video and apparently surprised the zoo staff, who had to take either pay reductions or lost hours when they were shut down. And credit the zoo for coming up with different ways of getting back open, like drive-through zoo, and the success that they've had there. But for the zoo, through those programs and donations, to be able to go to all their employees and say, if you lost X last year, here's a check. We're making it up for you. That's pretty incredible when you think about employers doing that, because a lot of us lost money last year. We ain't ever going to see it again. It's just gone. And for the zoo to step up and do that, I think that was pretty incredible.
Yeah, it was pretty, of course, too. He said it was philanthropy, the success of, their workarounds, like the drive-through, and then the federal assistance and loans all kind of came together to help get that done. Also, we have a few T-shirt or a few wardrobe mentions to talk about. One, I'm not familiar with the Real Housewives of New York, but one of the biggest stars last night wore a Selena T-shirt or Selena sweatshirt randomly. I don't know if that was like a stylist call or maybe she really just loves Selena. And then another T-shirt was kind of reversed. First fan Dakota Mitchell made a T-shirt about Coach Pop's passionate speech after winning the gold medal. I don't know if you all saw that. The video that Javale McGee posted. He was clapping. Did you see that one?
I did not.
I can't.
I've been out of it for 2 days. I've been out of it for 2 days.
Says, how the F do you like us now? To the people that were seeing his coaching abilities during the early days of the Olympics. So
that the gold medal speech, you're right. I did see that one. How do you like us now? Sort of with worse language.
Right. So I mean, it's not Pop in rare form, but I think I've ever seen him drop the F bomb like that. I mean, you've seen it like on the sidelines, but that was pretty funny.
Sure. Pop has said the F word more than once.
Oh yeah, for sure. So he got choked up too, so it was an interesting watch for sure.
Winning the gold medal for Greg Popovich was probably a lot more satisfying for him than we let on going in. After the gold medal, when he talked about the sense of responsibility that he felt for a number of years leading up to it, you knew how much it meant to him. Or at least we thought we knew, but it meant so much more to him that he did not want to let the country down, let everybody else down. Going back from when he was a player and cut from the 1972 team, for him to get that gold medal, for him to lead at Team USA to a gold medal, probably more satisfying. And I go back to Manu Ginobili when Manu said that winning the gold medal for Argentina in 2004 meant more to him than winning an NBA championship. And it's hard for us to understand that because we look at NBA titles more so than a gold medal. But I guarantee Pop can relate. And if Manu hadn't have said that, I don't know how many of us would totally understand the meaning that was for Greg Popovich.
Right. He said something to that effect too, that it was one of the best feelings he's had in basketball. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel right, but you can understand where he's coming from. That's the international stage versus the American platform. So.
Well, and then the journey and the flawed team that he had, and yet they were still able to get it done, especially after they lost that first game to France and all the negative arrows that were pointing it directly at Greg Popovich. That was huge.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So congrats to Pop. So there's a T-shirt out there now. San Antonio is going to come out with that as soon as it happens.
Absolutely. What do you got planned for this weekend?
This weekend, I'm not sure, actually. No plans. With some early birthday lunch and brunch dates with my friends, I think, are in store. So that should be exciting. Well,
so with your birthday next week, I'm surprised that you don't have like the next 3 weeks all blocked off with birthday celebrations.
I think I've actually been pretty laid back this year about my birthday, surprisingly.
Well, it is surprising.
Getting old.
Is that on you or is that on your friends?
I think
because some of your friends might feel like they're still celebrating last year's birthday.
Probably. No, but I mean, it's just like, it's 29. Nothing big about it.
It's 29. It's your last one's in the twos. You're going to have to get a new balloon for next year. Starts with the 3.
Yeah, maybe that's when I'm dreading it a little bit.
Oh, stop. You're going to be fine. The food and culture editor for the San Antonio Express News at the young age of 28 years old. Yeah, celebrate being 29. Celebrate being 29. Maddy, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah.
Maddy Skye from the San Antonio Express News with us here as she is every Wednesday on the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star. Coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, the Texas Longhorns have yet to name a starting quarterback, and it doesn't sound like Sark is going to do that anytime soon. Speaking of quarterbacks, the latest on Dak Prescott at 5. And John Mara taunting the No Fun League. What he had to say just kind of will piss you off. I don't understand. They need some new guys on the competition committee is what they need. We'll talk about that as we continue here on the Blitz. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. All day on ESPN, you've heard and watched their fantasy marathon. It's been time thinking about fantasy football. And I got to tell you about the best new place to play fantasy sports online. It is Underdog Fantasy. UnderdogFantasy.com. They've got a great app. Daily and season-long fantasy sports and NFL best ball format. Easy to play, no waivers, no trades. You just draft, set it, and forget it. And it's a great way to practice drafting before you have your home league draft, which is probably going to be in the next couple of weeks. At Underdog Fantasy, they already have contests for the 2021 NFL season already live, including the Best Ball Mania 2 tournament, $25 to enter, $3.5 million in total prizes. It is the largest tournament in fantasy football. So sign up today. Use promo code RADIO and make your first deposit and receive free $25 in bonus cash. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download their app. You can find them in all the app stores and register with promo code RADIO to get $25 cash for free with your first deposit. Download the app today. Start playing. Don't forget promo code RADIO at sign up. Terms and conditions apply. If you don't like it, they guarantee your money back up to $100. Play online or download the app. UnderdogFantasy.com.
22 days until the Dallas Cowboys kick off the NFL season against the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On your home for the Dallas Cowboys all season long. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
You know, in San Antonio, we have some of the hardest water in the country. Jason Minix here for Alamo Water Softeners, a great locally owned, family-run business by the Townsends. I've had a water softener in my home for about a decade. Wouldn't live without one. And, you know, when you're working with Alamo Water Softeners, you know you're working with that great local family-owned company that understands San Antonio and their water. And while most water providers do a pretty good job of making sure they exceed EPA guidelines, you know, those EPA standards for tap water haven't been updated in almost 20 years. With growing concerns of our aging infrastructure, more and more homeowners want to take their water quality into their own hands. That's why you need to call Alamo Water Softeners. They'll come out to your house and give you a free water analysis. Some chemicals and contaminants are undetectable, and Alamo Water Softeners provides the best value for the highest quality water treatment. That's why they were voted a 2020 neighborhood favorite on the Nextdoor app. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
If you spend hard-earned money on a designer watch and that watch breaks, don't you want it repaired with the same designer parts? The same goes for your car after an accident. Your safety and full satisfaction is My Collision Center's top priority. My Collision Center works for you. Our professionals use original, not aftermarket generic parts that will bring your vehicle's value down. If you have an accident and you want factory parts at no extra cost to you, choose My Collision Center.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the Titleist pre-sale fitting event happening August 16th through the 22nd. Be one of the first to feel the difference with the new Titleist T100, T100S, T200, and T300 irons. Featuring new materials and new refinements that power new precision. 4 irons to give you maximum performance for any type of dedicated golfer. Go to worldwidegolfshops.com and register to get a free custom fitting for your new T-Series irons today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
I'm Dr. Mark Havercorn. When I needed office space for my oral surgery practice, the best decision I made was to call Scott McMurray at Bottom Line Realty Advisors. He helped me find the ideal space and negotiate the best possible terms.
If you need 2,000 or tens of thousands of square feet for your office, warehouse, or retail space, we can help. The last thing you want to do is overpay the landlord.
I was impressed that Bottom Line Realty Advisors only represents tenants. I could tell that what I needed was their highest priority.
We never represent landlords. We only represent you. We help you get the best possible price and terms on your commercial lease.
Thanks to Scott and Bottom Line Realty Advisors, we have a great space in an ideal location. I know I got the best possible deal. I'm Dr. Mark Havercorn, and I highly recommend Bottom Line Realty Advisors.
Call Bottom Line Realty Advisors, 210-535-7800, 210-535-7800.
Bottom Line Realty Advisors. We get the landlord off your bottom line.
When Heidi Andrews worked at another jewelry store and heard all the great things about Diamonds Direct, she thought it had to be too good to be true.
I didn't believe it at first. I thought maybe it was all talk. But, I definitely had clients that would come over and they would show me the receipts. I was like, wow, you got a really great deal and it's a beautiful piece. Good job. I had a little Diamonds Direct envy. I was very jealous.
That's when Heidi knew she had to leave the ordinary store and follow her customers to Diamonds Direct, where she can now offer more of everything, especially more value.
I have more to offer all of my clients in terms of any designer they need, any custom they need, any diamonds they need, any gemstones they need. We have it all. We have it at the best prices. We have it at the best quality. Here at Diamonds Direct, things are not too good to be true. Everything is true. When we say it, we give it to you, and you get exactly what you're asking for, or more.
Diamonds Direct. It's all true. Come see for yourself. Official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at La Cantera.
Here we go.
Our shoes have more miles on them than your car does. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is Rob Thompson on your home for Dallas Cowboys football. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Cowboys, Texans, Saturday night here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. We'll talk about the Cowboys and who will likely not be available. One guess, jersey number 4 for that preseason game. The Texans number 4, he ain't going to be available either. We'll talk about that as well. Coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, have you been grilling? Take a photo of that meat on that grill. Upload it at sasportstar.com. Your chance to win a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market is coming up tomorrow as we do Grilling with the Blitz every Thursday. I've been out for a couple of days, sick as a dog, not COVID, tested negative. So I haven't had a chance to talk about the opening weekend of all the preseason and the good and the bad. And, we don't need to rehash preseason week number 1 because we'll have preseason week number 2 for most everybody coming up this week, third one for the Cowboys. But there was one really, really stupid play. And play, I mean, an incredible play that ended with a bad flag on a Colts running back who probably doesn't make the team. I mean, that guy carried half the football field. I mean, the entire defense, most of the offense, he carried everybody. And after the play, he flexed and he got penalized for taunting because apparently there's going to be some new emphasis on taunting. And immediately the No Fun League monikers start coming back because that should not be a taunting penalty. What he did should be celebrated. He didn't do anything wrong. And I'm glad that I missed the last couple of days to talk about it because, my good Lord, John Mara opened his mouth and added fuel to the fire here of issues with the competition committee. John Mara, one of the Giants owners, who's on the competition committee, explaining why that was a penalty.
I mean, that's something we discuss every year in the competition committee. We get kind of sick and tired of the taunting that does go on from time to time on the field. We tried to balance the sportsmanship with allowing the players to have fun. And there's always a fine line there, but none of us like to see that. And it's just a question of whether you can have rules that can be enforced without taking the fun out of the game too. But nobody wants to see a player taunting another player. I know I certainly don't. And I think the rest of the members of the competition committee feel the same way too.
John Mara couldn't sound more like a country club type when talking about taunting there. And the difference between taunting and having fun and celebrating one hell of a play. And that was one hell of a play. I mean, I understand if there's certain language, certain words that we might not pick up on television, but the refs might throw a flag. I'm good with that. When you stand over a guy and basically have your junk in their face while they're on the ground, I could see that. But what you saw that Colts running back do, that was not taunting. I mean, even the throat slash, when they got rid of that, all right, I understand that. But having some fun in the game is part of it. But when I hear John Mara, rich old dude, oh, we don't like seeing that. You couldn't sound more like somebody in the country club as opposed to the locker room. I mean, you haven't figured out what a catch was. Or you did 3 years after Des caught it. I mean, that's pathetic. And I do hope that they get rid of all these flags in the preseason when games don't count. That we don't see a stupid penalty cost a team during the regular season because of taunting. Or I really do hope that a nice long touchdown run by Saquon Barkley gets called back and it costs the Giants a win. I mean, there are things on the competition committee that I still don't understand. And you saw it bite the Dallas Cowboys in the preseason game against Arizona. It cost the Cowboys a year ago that a team can have a false start penalty, miss a damn field goal, and then they get another crack at it because the play never happened because the defense can't decline that. That's something I don't understand that the competition committee could look at. Why does a team that make a mistake get rewarded with another try? I don't understand that, but you're going to try to tell me that was taunting? Whew. The Giants, hope they lose 2 games because of taunting penalties. It's just ridiculous. And again, maybe it's one of those things they'll look at in preseason, call heavily, and then it goes away during the regular season. At least that's what you could hope for. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. What did you guys think of Hard Knocks last night? What do you think of Hard Knocks through 2 episodes of this season of Hard Knocks? We'll get into it as we continue here on the Blitz. Take your phone calls on the Kia Bossa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. It's August. If your air conditioner goes out, you know you need to call Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC at 210-651-5899. They've got a great experienced staff that will get to your house in a hurry and get you taken care of. Whether it's an air conditioning problem, whether you are dealing with some plumbing issues, you know there's no better company to call because they're full service. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked and they have all the equipment needed for any job. At Quarter Moon, they do not have commissioned sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions. They have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. 210-651-5899 is the phone number. 651-5899 or online, quartermoonplumbing.com.
It's that time. Buses, school zone, study hall, and the classroom. It's back to school. And to make it special, you have the chance to win $1,000 in San Antonio Sports Stars Back to School giveaway. $500 for you and $500 to donate to your school. Register now at sasportstar.com. Powered by Aguero's Automotive Paint and Supplies. Good luck from San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-990-6271 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. Been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? Call U.S. Pharmacy at 800-990-6271 for as little as only $119 for 90 pills. Need your package in a hurry? Call 800-990-6271 and ask about our express shipping option, and we'll rush your order to you as soon as possible. Save money on the little blue or yellow pill you've been wanting to try. Again, 800-990-6271 now. That's 800-990-6271.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus works 24/7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get a $175 gift card and a chance for a VIP pro football getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
The granddaddy of all hunting shows returns to San Antonio. The 2021 Hunters Extravaganza, August 20th through the 22nd at the Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall. Bring the kids and see Gator Country's huge alligators and last season's bucks in our annual deer contest. Check out the latest in hunting gadgets and gear and enter our locked and loaded mega giveaway to win big. August 20th through the 22nd at the Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall. For details and tickets, go to huntersextravaganza.com. A Texas Trophy Hunters production.
Live, local, loud. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Jason Minix, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on a Wednesday edition. James Pledger producing as always. Been out a couple of days. Want to thank Rob Thompson for pulling double duty last couple of days while I've been sick as a dog. Not COVID. Did test negative. Scares the crap out of you, though, when you get sick in 2021, so you go get tested just to be safe. Glad it's not COVID, but glad to be back at work, although not at 100%. So if I start hacking, I apologize in advance. What'd you guys think of Hard Knocks last night? 2 episodes in. Is Hard Knocks run its course? Are teams just so protective that they don't let the good stuff out like they used to? Because the last couple of years, Hard Knocks hasn't lived up to the hype. And I don't know what the NFL and NFL Films can do. But I'm so geeked up every Tuesday for Hard Knocks. And I don't want to say I'm disappointed because I'm not. But it's not what it used to be. It's kind of vanilla. And I believe that's all Mike McCarthy when it comes to this year's version of Hard Knocks with the Dallas Cowboys. Although last night we got some of the storylines that you're accustomed to. You know, the feature on the defensive line coach from Great Britain and his accent. You know, the kid, you know, the Kamara guy that, you know, I mean, but it just lacks the drama. We don't, I mean, hearing Zeke on the football field talk about how his glutes are dry and he needs some baby powder. I guess, I mean, kind of funny, kind of odd. Kind of strange that the trainer had baby powder ready to go. Like those trainers are just prepared for everything. But these 2 episodes of Hard Knocks, they just lack the drama. They lack the excitement. I mean, the cinematography is there. Some of the slow-mo video that you saw last night, especially the practice with the Rams, I thought that was pretty incredible video stuff. But it's just lacking. It's vanilla. It's boring. It's Mike McCarthy, and it's the way Mike McCarthy wants it. And, you know, I thought the best part of last night was the opening couple of minutes. Mike McCarthy with that speech right at the beginning.
I want you guys to get on the edge tonight, okay? Give it a little extra. Stay within the rules, but we got to get on the edge. The personality of our football team has to take a step tonight. 40% of you guys are new from last year, okay? We played this team last year. Make sure you put it on their ass tonight. All I care about tonight is the physicality of the football game. Be smart, don't throw a punch, don't do nothing crazy, but let's put the wood on these guys. We're a popular team. We're not in this for being popular. We talk about a winning culture. And the real winning comes with the play style. This wasn't our best week of practice. So let's learn from it. I want you geared in tonight. Let's turn this up. I'm talking about everybody. So you can bring it to these guys.
Yeah, I mean, that was the beginning of the show. I was ready to go after hearing that pledge. And the rest of the show, like I said, I mean, most of the best stuff I saw on the Twitter promos, whether it was talking about baby powder farts from Zeke or what we were. And Zeke's a fun guy. I mean, if anything, knowing that Zeke is that kind of a teammate, he is the biggest cheerleader on the sidelines in that Arizona Cardinals game. He's always laughing, always having fun, but he's also putting in the work. I think Zeke has been the star of Hard Knocks, and I think this is doing Zeke's reputation good as far as being a good teammate. I thought the stuff on CeeDee Lamb was interesting. Coach Dirty was interesting. But for the most part, it's just lacking. And I think about what Mike McCarthy said in that rant, and it's the difference between the old regime and what Mike McCarthy is trying to build.
We're a popular team. We're not in this for being popular.
See, that's the difference between Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy. That is why Hard Knocks is with the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry wanted them. Mike McCarthy did not. He's tolerated them. And he has said it as many times. You know, he'll say, oh, these guys are great. They're professionals. Yeah, but I don't like them. When Jerry called me, I damn near wrecked my truck and, thought it was great after I got my truck on the road. Mike McCarthy doesn't like it. Yet they tolerate it. Mike McCarthy is trying to get away from just because there's a star on your helmet, you're automatically greater than what you are. He is trying to get the guys in that locker room past that. Because for a lot of years, you had that star on your helmet, you were greater than what you really are. It's like that 3-star kid out of high school starts getting recruited by Texas or Oklahoma or A&M or Alabama. Then all of a sudden they go from 3 to 5. Same kid, but it's who you're talking to. Well, if you're ex-player, you put that star on your helmet, you think you're better than what you really are. He doesn't care about popular. He cares about wins.
We're a popular team. We're not in this for being popular.
And it's an interesting mindset.
Team. We're not in this for being popular.
Because that is what the Cowboys have been for so long. They are America's team for a reason, even though they haven't won a Super Bowl since the mid-90s. Everybody's got that gift ready to go. Ready to go. Here we go. When was the last time you won? It doesn't matter because the popularity is there. Mike McCarthy's trying to keep the popularity, but at the same time get the wins and change the mindset in the locker room. I mean, we've talked about it for a long time with Jason Garrett. Are they a coddled football team? They automatically think they're better than what they are. Mike McCarthy is changing that.
I mean, we've talked about with the Texas Longhorns for over a decade now as well. I mean, it's about the coddled nature and the way that team's perceived and the way they think of themselves. But at the same time, I think this thing lacks drama because remember, there was the Danny Amendola story the last time. There's the roster bubble guys that you thought had a legitimate shot to make the roster. The roster feels pretty set for the most part. It doesn't feel like there's a guy itching, and that the 235-pound linebacker, Kamara, I mean, he just feels like he's inevitably going to be cut.
Well, yeah, there is no doubt. And they're setting them up to be cut, but at least it's something to root for. I mean, we remember last week, I was like, where's the underdog that I get to root for? Micah Parsons and his mom, that's great. I love seeing that. Micah Parsons is going to be a star. Watching him lose in chest to Ben DiNucci is kind of embarrassing. That's one of those welcome to the league, Rook moves, because we know Micah Parsons. Hell, after the draft, when Micah Parsons was on the Blitz, he was talking about being a chess player. I believe Amari Cooper is the best chess player on the team. Why didn't he play Amari? Why was he playing Ben DiNucci? Although Ben DiNucci got a lot of airtime last night, so maybe he's getting a little pocket money before he has to start his job at Costco in a couple of weeks after he gets released by the Dallas Cowboys, because I think it was even more evident last night that he's not long for the NFL. He's not going to be the third-string quarterback this year. He can't be. I mean, and if you had your choice as a third-string quarterback between Cooper Rush and Ben DiNucci, you're going Cooper Rush. They've given Ben DiNucci every possible opportunity. And even NFL films, as great as they are, couldn't make Ben DiNucci look like an all-pro on Hard Knocks. I mean, the tight spiral in slow motion, the confidence, the this, the that, it's still Ben freaking DiNucci. It is. I mean, he got that touchdown pass. I hope to hell he got the ball, because that's his first one in 2 years. I hope he gets to keep the one he throws in practice today, because those are going to be keepsakes that he'll be able to tell his grandkids about. But there's no way Ben DiNucci makes this team. There's no way, unless somebody gets drastically hurt. I mean, I can't see Ben DiNucci making it over Cooper Rush. Even the comments that you're hearing from Mike McCarthy, as subtle as they are, and Pledge at some point when he gets cut, if we could find the week after Ben DiNucci started last year, and as kind as McCarthy was trying to be when he joined us on the Blitz, I am surprised that Ben DiNucci is still there through the offseason, although watching him in practice, and you saw some of this last night, there are times when he looks like, all right, maybe there's something that you could work with. And then there's other times, no. In practice, he gets it done. In the game, it still hasn't slowed down for him. And he's playing against the Arizona Threes. I mean, keep that in mind. The guys he is not beating aren't going to be there in a couple of weeks either. That's the scary part. Again, I look at Hard Knocks this year. It just isn't as satisfying as it should be. It's not as satisfying as we've had it before. It's not bad. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying, well, this is stupid, I'm not going to watch it anymore. I'm still going to watch, and I would watch, just like I watch all of them. But they used to be so good. It's still must watch, but I even tried watching it again this morning just to watch it a second time with maybe not as much cough medicine in me, thinking, well, maybe it'll be better the next morning. And it's not. It's just lacking the substance and the drama that we're used to seeing. Although we are getting some of the storylines, and I appreciate that, where last week we got the Dak stuff as it was happening, which added some good drama, even though it was stuff that we already knew. But last night, I think the best part about this Hard Knocks is we ain't hearing a lot from Jalen Smith, and I think that's a good thing.
And you say that's lacking compelling storylines. I think that's the one thing it's lacking the most this year, is just the compelling storyline just doesn't seem to be there. You know who your offensive linemen are. You know who the starting, nobody's battling for a position on the roster. And those are the things that usually rope us in, is the person either A, fighting to make the team, or B, fighting to make the starting unit and trying to take a spot from somebody. Everything seems to be positionally set on both offense and defense for the most part. And it doesn't seem like anybody's being followed around that's making a push to be a starter or even make the end of the roster.
And I think that goes in line with the Cowboys and NFL films and who they agree that they're going to follow around with microphones. Like, I know, because when I did the interview when we were in Oxnard with Ty and Secchi, that he was mic'd up for Hard Knocks and that they were filming that for Hard Knocks. And I don't know if that's going to make a later episode or if that's just going to hit the cutting room floor. I don't know if they've got Diggs mic'd up at any point. Some of the guys that are competing or taking over leadership roles, but some of that's on the Cowboys of who they're going to let mic'd up. They're still trying to tell you interesting storylines about the players we want to know. Zeke, I think this is good for him. Although, last week with the gift wrapping and, stealing Dak's bike and sunflower seeds and cheerleader. I mean, it's Zeke being Zeke. Dak isn't going to give you much. They go out to the beach house with Tank Lawrence and his family, and it's nice to see, a guy who's a monster on the football field be a teddy bear with his family off of it and talk about the support. But it just seemed so staged. It seemed like he didn't seem comfortable doing the interviews there at the beach and his family there, but they tried to go down that storyline. You're telling me a story about CeeDee Lamb. All right, man, the dude's into candles. He likes things to smell good. He packs more shoes on a road trip than Rob Thompson. That's what I got out of CeeDee Lamb. I need more. I want more. Where is the team interaction? Maybe that's part of the COVID part of stuff that you don't see him cutting up as much in the meeting rooms, or is that McCarthy not letting them? We got a little bit from the defensive line coach when they were making fun of the accent of their defensive line coach, who, as Jerry said, sounds like Winston Churchill. I didn't know who that guy was. So I thought that was interesting, but we've seen some of the rookie singing and that kind of stuff that's always been a part of Hard Knocks as a staple that we're not getting this year. And we're not getting it this year because the Cowboys clearly aren't allowing them. I don't believe that they've just done away with it.
You said that there, at least while you were in Oxnard for Cowboys training camp, they were preparing to do something on Ty and Secchi.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen anything on Ty and Secchi so far.
Yeah, I just said that. I don't know if that's going to make the cutting room floor or make a later episode. I thought last night it would have been a good storyline to flow when they were talking about guys that aren't sure about making the team or what they could add, and he didn't make the cut. As much as they shoot, and for them to, on the fly, edit in an hour is pretty incredible. So maybe that's in the can, ready for because they haven't done anything on the offensive line. Who knows? Maybe it doesn't make Hard Knocks. I can show you photos of Hard Knocks filming him while we were doing the interview. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make the show, but it's one of those storylines that they wanted to follow early on in camp. Maybe they decided, hearing Zeke tell me about his dry glutes and the need for baby powder was going to be more entertaining for the show than Ty and Secchi listing off the number of teams that he has played for in his role in his route and journey to get to the NFL. I don't know, but 2 episodes in, I just, it's yeah. I mean, can't wait for next Tuesday.
Sure.
Right?
You can keep saying that all you want. Get hopped up on some cotton mess and the hour will be over before you know it.
You look at Hard Knocks. It's 5 episodes. It's on the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be good. I want it to be great. I want more out of Hard Knocks. I want the drama that Hard Knocks delivers. And this team is making it vanilla. Mike McCarthy is making it vanilla, which is the way Mike McCarthy wants it to be. But it is, when you're watching a series and you've invested a lot into that series, and every week you watch
Rob
and go,
in The Walking Dead.
Why the hell am I still watching this? Yet you've got, it's the opposite with this because it's only 5 episodes. So you can't miss it because, at some point it's going to be good. At some point, you're going to get what you're looking for out of it. But to this point, it's just been all right. It's like you go to a nice restaurant and you're ready for that sensational meal. And you walk out and go, that was all right. That was all right. I'll go back. It's a great restaurant. I'll go back. But this one is all right. It's one of those things. Now, speaking of the Cowboys, Mike McCarthy said today as the Cowboys go through their padded practice that quarterback Dak Prescott going to be limited once again. And that does affect his status for Saturday's preseason game against Houston.
I mean, Dak's status is, I would guess, continue to classify it as limited. We'll just continue the throwing regimen and keep building up the volume.
So at this point, with this being the last added practice, is it fair to say he won't play?
Oh, there's a good chance he probably won't play. That's fair.
Good chance he probably won't play, which means there's a chance that he could play. You're saying there's a chance. I mean, what do you do?
You keep clinging to hope.
I mean, I want to see Dak play in the preseason. If he doesn't play in the preseason, it's not going to be the end of the world. But the guy hasn't taken a live snap since his leg snapped October of last year. It's like a damn year. He can tell me all he wants that he's fine and doesn't think about his leg. But every athlete that you talk to talks about that first game back. Alex Smith, go back to ESPN's newest employee when he had to take the field last year for Washington football team. As excited as he was thinking about his leg. You talk to any of them. You got to go get those reps in. Game speed. If Amari Cooper is going to play and CeeDee Lamb is going to play, I don't care if it's one series. Go break a sweat. Just don't break a leg against the Houston Texans. Just get out there. Fans are going to be in the stands. It's Jerry World. The atmosphere is going to be there. I don't care if you just hand the ball off to Tony Pollard 3 times and punt. There's just something about that adrenaline rush that I think needs to get out of the system before the opener against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road. I mean, to me, there's just something to that. The lack of practice time, the lack of rhythm that you know is going to be there. And I promise you right now, write it down. In September, when that offense looks off, we're going to go back and go, well, he didn't get in the preseason game. You know, you're going to hear all of them talk about it. Well, you know, we got to work on our timing. Well, we were a little off here. You know, Amari missed time, Dak missed time. You know, we're a little off. Get into the game. I mean, if you're worried, if you play worried about getting hurt, you're going to get hurt. Isn't that Murphy's Law?
That's Murphy's Law.
You know, get out there and play. It's different philosophies. And typically, I wouldn't care if Dak played in the preseason. I never care. I didn't want Tony Romo to play in preseason because that's a dude that needed to stay in bubble wrap. But with the time off that Dak has had, just going through those motions of dressing, game start, getting in the huddle, hearing the play call, all of that just is practice that you need inside of a stadium that you can't simulate. I mean, you know, it was interesting watching Hard Knocks last night, how they go through everything. Everybody stand up in the meeting room and they try to get on the same cadence, on the same count. You know, everything is such an orchestrated event. Yet you see in a preseason game, the backup center can't snap the damn ball because there's a difference in practice and in game. That's the only reason why I want to see Dak play against the Houston Texans. I don't care if it's one series or 2 series, but just going through everything that you're going through. You look at high school teams. They don't get preseason, but you know what they do? They have scrimmages against somebody else to work on that kind of thing. Colleges will have scrimmages against themselves, you know, to try to work on as much game simulation as they possibly can because it's important before your first live action. Same for Dak Prescott.
And we've heard about it, though, with Mike McCarthy yesterday talking to the media when he talked about, you know, they're trying to ramp him back up. They want to get his arm back where it is. And they talked about it being like a pitcher's injury, and rest is what it needs. And now they need to ramp it back up before they put him in any live action. So I think if they're holding him out, it's for a very specific reason, to make sure he doesn't re-injure himself. And they're trying to steal all the rest that they can to make sure that this doesn't pop up during the regular season.
And from that standpoint, I'm 100% with you. I need Dak healthy in December, January, more than I need him healthy in September. I don't want him hurt in September that affects him in January. And you've got to have that big picture look. Going back to Hard Knocks last night, what Hard Knocks has done for Dak Prescott, more so than what we've ever heard on a podium or any interview, is the behind-the-scenes conversations about Dak needing protection from Dak, because he's always willing to overwork it.
How's the guy doing? 4. Good. Just got to kind of wind him back up with the throwing regiment, but he'll be fine. He's such a stud human, man. Oh, yeah. I mean, you just got to, he's all go all the time. You got to slow him down a little bit. So, he's a great guy.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury and Mike McCarthy talking about the stud human that is Dak Prescott. But even then, Mike McCarthy, man, he's just all go all the time. And you're seeing that in practice. And again, he's got to protect himself from himself and look at the big picture. And for Dak Prescott, he knows he's QB1. He knows that there's no quarterback on that roster that's about to take his job. Up in Austin, they haven't decided on who QB1 is going to be, or at least not that they're letting us know. We'll tell you what Sark had to say about who could be leading the Longhorns in their opener as we continue here on The Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text the word bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option is AA Best Bail Bonds for stress-free bail bonds, because nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, offer a free shuttle service. Of course, they're discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, in the Valley, anywhere in between, license number 149. Text the word bail to 474747. Call AA Best Bail Bonds at 210-225-2121 or go online mybestbailbonds.com. Who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Longhorns? We'll talk about it after James Pledger gives you the headlines with SportsCenter. Pledge.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Well, as we were talking about, Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy said today that Dak Prescott would be unlikely to play in Saturday's preseason game against the Houston Texans, a game you can actually catch right here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. It all starts at 7 with the kickoff. Speaking of the Cowboys, they added a kicker to the roster in Liram Hajrullah. Yeah, I messed that all up. Greg Zuerlein's dealing with a back injury, but is expected to play in Week 1, so Liram provides an insurance policy. In college football news, the Big 12 Conference has announced a forfeit of policy for the upcoming season in which a conference game is canceled due to a team not having enough players due to COVID-19 or any other reason that team will forfeit the game and be credited with the loss. The SEC made a similar declaration during the league's media days back in mid-July. In Major League Baseball, the Rangers fell 3-1 to the Mariners in their series opener, a series they'll continue tonight. And you can catch it right here on your home for Rangers baseball, starting at 6:30 with the pregame right after the Blitz. First pitch is set for 7:05, while the Astros fell 3-1 to the Royals, dropping their first 2 games in that series. They'll continue that series tonight from the Juice Box, with first pitch set for 7:10. I'm James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
If your brakes are bad or you think they're going bad, do us all a favor and get them fixed. Hi, Jason Minix here for New Brakes, nubrakes.com. They're a mobile brake shop. That means they will come to you to fix your brakes. Let's face it, we're all busy. None of us have time to go spend hours waiting at a repair shop or want to deal with the hassle of dropping your car off and going back to get them fixed the next day. That's the beauty of New Brakes. They will come to you to fix your brakes. They'll come to your office. They'll come to your house, wherever you're going to be. They provide convenient and affordable brake repairs, and they only fix brakes. You're not going to get the upsells like at a traditional repair shop. Most repairs are done in less than an hour, and they use premium brake parts, and they back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. And you can save 10% when you mention my name or San Antonio Sports Star when you schedule that repair at nubrakes.com. You need your brakes done. They're going to fix your brakes while you continue to do what you're doing. In fact, if you get sick and you're stuck at home, you can still get your brakes done because they're just going to be outside fixing your brakes. You could be inside whining on the couch about whatever else, but at least your brakes are going to get done. They're great at what they do. Go read all the 5-star reviews and schedule a repair now. nubrakes.com for New Brakes. nubrakes.com.
Twin Peaks is adding one of the most well-kept secrets in all the beer community to select Texas drink menus. Yes, Yuengling Traditional Lager is here. Starting August the 11th, participating Twin Peaks lodges will serve that coveted Northeastern Premium Lager at a perfect 29 degrees. In addition to its scenic views and those made-from-scratch menus, Yuengling Traditional Lager pairs perfectly with Twin Peaks Nashville Hot Chicken and, oh, those hand-smashed and seared burgers and those great new loaded fries. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, and, oh, those scenic views.
While most water providers do a pretty good job making sure they exceed EPA guidelines, did you know EPA standards for tap water have not been updated in almost 20 years? With growing concerns of our aging infrastructure, more homeowners want to take their water quality into their own hands. That is why you should call Alamo Water Softeners and have them give you a free water analysis. Some chemicals and contaminants are undetectable. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
Great news, Slackers! Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar is now opening at noon 7 days a week at all 4 area locations. North Star, St. Mary's, Slackadochis, and the Medical Center. Slackers is the home for 7-day-a-week happy hour, now starting at noon every day. And by popular demand, Slackers brings back the signature frozen drinks. Bring a date, bring a crew, or come on down solo. Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar serves you up all your favorites and quenches your thirst 7 days a week, starting every day at noon. Visit slackersbarssa.com for more info.
You hear all the time about Diamonds Direct's prices and selection and warranties. All true, and all good reasons to give us a visit. But what really sets Diamonds Direct apart is something that's hard to put into words. But you will feel it. You'll know it from the minute you walk in. It's our unique culture, our passion, our genuine and absolute desire to totally revolutionize the way you experience jewelry shopping. It's why we do what we do. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Jason Minix, The Blitz.
All right, Chris. Do you always have a reason for the bumper music? You want to explain this one?
It's Eminem's Berserk, and There's no real reason. It just happened to fall this way for this one. But, I mean, things are getting pretty berserk when it comes to the QB battles, whether it's in Austin or even College Station.
Well, I mean, that might be a stretch, I suppose. That was Eminem, huh?
That was?
That sounded like a remix of Billy Squire.
Well, it's sampled.
Oh, okay.
It's sampled from Billy Squire.
So, because when that music first started, that's why I was like, why is he playing Billy Squire here? And then the music changed, and I was like, okay, now I really have no idea what the hell you're playing. But it generally will tie in to whatever the topic might be on the rundown, assuming that I pay attention to what the rundown is and we actually follow it. So that was Berserk.
Berserk.
All right. We'll go with it. A bit of a stretch, but we'll see what happens. So interesting. And again, it's the game that we all play in the media. You want to know who the starting quarterback is going to be. The Longhorns have a legit quarterback battle going on. Do you really think it's going to go down to the opener? I find it interesting. Steve Sarkisian is not saying who his starting quarterback is. That doesn't surprise me. Most coaches won't say unless you've got a no doubt this is the guy. Whether you're talking about a redshirt freshman at Hudson Card, who's worked a lot with the starters, or you got Casey Thompson, who had a great Alamo Bowl performance, yet they both have made a lot of mistakes. By all the people that are following the Texas Longhorn program on a daily basis, all the media that I follow on Twitter, it seems like Hudson Card is ahead of Casey Thompson, but that could change. I mean, they got a big scrimmage coming up. It's the Longhorns' final one this Saturday before their September 4th opener. Both have had their share of mistakes in previous workouts going back to the spring. And quite frankly, I don't know that Sark can make a bad decision here. When you look at Bijan Robinson and you look at some of the other options that they have on that Texas offense pledge, not that it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, but it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. I think both are going to have their share of mistakes like any quarterback. There isn't a runaway winner. I think the winner of this quarterback battle is going to be what we don't see on the scrimmage. But who do the guys follow in that locker room? I mean, these guys are that close. And there's so many weapons on that team. Based on what we know about Hudson Card, based on what we've seen with Casey Thompson, I can't tell you which one I'd rather see play. So which one is going to be the better leader of men? Which one are those other players going to follow? That's going to end up being who the starting quarterback is for the Longhorns.
Which one's going to turn around and hand the ball off to Bijan Robinson a whole lot? Because CBS Sports released their preseason All-Americans, and first team, Longhorn running back, sophomore sensation, Bijan Robinson, who exploded in that Alamo Bowl win.
He did. And I'll tell you, I mean, he's going to be a Heisman candidate before the end of the season is over. They've got some receivers. They've got some great depth on the offensive line. This Longhorns offense should be really, really, really good. I mean, really, really good. And I know it's August. Texas, we're back. I know I'm a homer when I say that. But I don't know that it matters who ends up being the starting quarterback for the Longhorns right now.
Texas is back, folks.
They are. It's August. We can say that. I mean, you look at it because both quarterbacks are good, but both quarterbacks have their flaws. I mean, Pledge, you follow the Longhorns just as close as anybody else. I don't know if you have a favorite. It was Hudson Card for me until I saw Casey Thompson play in the Alamo Bowl. And when I see a guy under the lights perform like that, that goes a long way. But when I see pick sixes thrown, when I see, that's the one thing. One is a little bit more conservative. One is a little bit riskier. Which do you want?
For me,
which do you want?
For me, I always liked Hudson Card. He's more prototypical in his passing, more accurate, I think. And Casey Thompson, though, gives you that escapability.
Mm-hmm.
And people are drawn to the electric plays that keeping a play alive. throwing the ball down the field on the run, being able to pick up 25, 35 yards on a scramble. Like, people are blown away by the athleticism and the escapability, and they kind of get, sucked into the excitement that brings, but also they tend to forget about the negatives that can bring as well.
Yeah, when you throw a pick six, that could change things. And that's, isn't that where we're at? I mean, do you want safer? Do we want to get back to, well, it's 3rd and 2, let's go ahead and punt? Or
when did Bill O'Brien become the offensive coordinator?
I'm just saying. I mean, when I hear safe, that's kind of what it comes down to, right? I mean, both are good, and that's when you have that many good quarterbacks, you have situations like that. What I don't want to have happen with the Texas Longhorns is, well, we've got 2 quarterbacks, and we're going to play them both, because that means you don't have one. One of those guys is separating themselves in that locker room. One of them is separating themselves in that locker room. And that's going to be the guy. And Sark can tell us he won't make a decision until he has to, which is going to be the opener September 4th. And that's not going to be an easy game. I mean, that's a top 25 opponent.
You say we have 2 quarterbacks, and the only thing that runs through my mind is Chance Mock.
Well, that's pathetic on your part. I mean, that's really pathetic on your part. But again, somebody's going to win the job, and somebody's going to have hurt feelings. There's no reason for Sark to make that announcement now to the public or to the team for that matter. And maybe the job really is up for grabs. I mean, you look at the same thing going on in College Station. You got a hell of a football team, ranked number 6 in seems like every poll. If they could beat Alabama, they got a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they haven't solidified the quarterback position, although I think we all know who it is. And that's, I think, the difference.
Do we?
So when you look at the Longhorns battle versus the Aggie battle, you have to look at and go, okay, it's this guy's job to lose. And I think that's what's going on in College Station, where Texas, it's legitimately been up for grabs all offseason. And I think that's where you see, especially some of the preseason rankings for Texas A&M, because most people feel, whether you're talking about Phil Steele's magazine, when he put stuff out, what did Phil Steele have as the Aggie starting quarterback when he was putting everything together for
was it King or Calzada?
For Hayes King is going to be the guy. And we've heard that since last year. And I think all the predictions are on that. Now, for the Texas Longhorns, they go Hudson Card. But I do think when Phil Steele was on with us, he said it was still quite a debate. But you look at Sark and you look at what Hudson can do, and that's who he put in his depth chart, because it was all unofficial. But I think for A&M, it's Hayes, and you go from there. It's his job to lose. But I think either way, with all the talent around, A&M is going to be in good shape. But I do think they had a quarterback with a job to lose, where with Texas, it was 2 guys that are legitimately battling it out to see who is going to end up winning QB1. And at this point, 18th day of August, Sark, if he's made a decision, ain't going to announce it, because why would he?
Mm-hmm.
What coach says, well, you know what? We got 2 weeks left in camp, but this job is already won. No coach ever says that.
I think it'll be game week and probably towards the end of that week before we know. And I don't know, didn't in his first game, or when there was still a debate on who the starting quarterback was going to be between Ellinger and was it who was he in competition with? Was it Buechele?
Oh, might have been. I mean, before he transferred to SMU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it his first active duty before Tom Herman left, to basically, you'll find out when he lines up under center in week 1.
Yeah, and it's typical. It's typical coaching that, it's a competitive advantage not to say you're a quarterback is until you have to, because the other team has to prepare for both. And if you're trying to prepare for Hudson Card and Casey Thompson, that's time you've got to spend on both. You know, I know high school coaches that will run stuff in a game that they never run just so the other team the following week has to spend 15 minutes a day in practice on it because it takes them away from what they do well, right? I mean, let's come out in this one lineup. They'll do it 2 or 3 times a day. Weird plays, stuff they never run, but they show a look that they never use just to make the other team have to worry about it and spend time on it, especially special teams formations. That's part of it. It's going to be an interesting season. And I do think, you know, you think about Haynes King up there at A&M and Calzada. That's probably turned into more of a battle than a lot of people thought.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still going to be King that wins that job. His job to lose. And that's the difference between what Jimbo's dealing with and what Sark is dealing with. Is I do think it was a legit quarterback competition all spring for QB1 of the Texas Longhorns. And no surprise that we won't know until September who that guy is.
The question becomes, though, when you're talking about now it's become a battle down in A&M between Haynes King and Matt Calzada. If Calzada's made it this close, is it like you said in the Texas job, which one is the locker room gravitating towards? Could the locker room be gravitating towards Calzada, which is making this more of a competition?
I don't have Aggie insider knowledge. I don't know that many veterinarians. But from everything that I know,
I know one.
I know that I don't know that they're gravitating. That's an interesting use of the word for you multiple times in one sentence. But I look at that and no, I don't think that's the issue. I think, as my buddy Chip just said, Sark needs to hold off the announcement because you need every advantage to beat Louisiana Lafayette. And there's so many Aggie jokes there, except for that Lafayette team. That Lafayette team is ranked in the top 25.
Mm-hmm.
And every Aggie has bad memories of that stadium. I used to work with one. I used to work with one. That's a team you can't mess with. That's no cupcake. None. No cupcake at all.
Are you trying to bring up bad memories for someone?
No, I'm just saying that if you're going to be an Aggie and text me about, the Raging Cajun, I used to, true story. We were at Houston Texans training camp, and we go into this Cajun restaurant, and Datwin walks out of the bathroom and says, "We got to go." And I was like, "What are you talking about, dude? We just got here." He's like, "Go to the bathroom." So I go to the bathroom, and above the urinal is a framed photo of when they beat Texas A&M. And of course, the picture had the scoreboard, and Dat was kind of walking off the field. We ended up staying and had a good time because his buddy owned the place, but he just was, being kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, we've all seen that. We've all been there. We've all been there. Talk to me in September, Chip.
Or not, depending how it goes.
Well, that's the fun thing. And I think the Aggies are going to be really good this year. Aggies are going to be incredible this year. They really are. It's going to be a great year for Texas A&M. But there's one Saturday, that weekend, and Alabama's coming to College Station this year. If they can get that win, holy crap, this could be the year for A&M. It really could be. And then all my Aggie friends start, don't say that. Don't talk good about us.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk bad about you guys, but don't talk good about us. It's comical. And trust me, I understand. I'm not an Aggie, but I understand battered Aggie syndrome. Longhorns face it too. We just call it something else. It's what it is. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Sarah Barshop, who has been covering the story involving Deshuan Watson. And if you've been watching SportsCenter all day, you've seen her on TV all day. She's going to join us coming up at 6 o'clock. We'll get the latest on Deshuan. But Draymond Green, who's going to be a great broadcaster when his playing days are over, has a sit down with Kevin Durant. And they clear the air by blaming Steve Kerr and Bob Myers for the downfall of the Golden State Warriors dynasty. Interesting stuff. We'll get into it as we continue here on the Blitz. Now, if you're going to fire up the grill, you want to make sure you get into Tri-County Meat Market, because you know that great meal starts with great meat. Tri-County Meat Market is locally owned and full service, and they have carefully selected certified prime Angus beef cuts, Wagyu, upper choice. In fact, they've got their own homegrown Wagyu. So you talk about farm to fork Wagyu. They've also teamed up with Dean and Peeler Premium Meats out of Floresville for more locally sourced meats. At Tri-County, you're going to get everything you need to up your grilling game, from the beef, the chicken, the pork, the fajitas, the poppers. It's all incredible. Their seasoned fajitas better than you could do. So you can get in there and get them. They've got prepared meats ready to go. All you got to do is put them on the grill and enjoy. They got great stuff wrapped in bacon, those avocado bombs, the brisket burgers. They've got so much there, and you can always stock up on their Pick 5 for $25, which is a great special on the Huebner location. It's on the right side, especially if you got a lot of people coming over. Always take advantage of the Pick 5 for $25. And you know, at Tri-County, they always offer a 10% discount for military and first responders. Tri-County Meat Market, 2 locations, out on Ralph Fair Road, one on Huebner. Check their website, tricountymeat.com.
And now, a man's thoughts on San Antonio sports star. What were you thinking?
That escalated quickly.
This is San Antonio sports star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Howdy, San Antonio. Chip Ingram from the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, inviting you to come out and enjoy patio season. We have newly remodeled patios, garage doors, and everything else you need to enjoy this great South Texas weather. As always, ice cold beer and specialty drinks. Happy hours daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And our kitchen is open from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. See you soon at the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant at 281 and Redland Road.
You can talk keto all you want, but if you don't have a team of great tasting snacks behind you, you're not going to win the diet marathon. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have these big, bold flavors that kick your taste buds into high gear. Korean kimchi barbecue, pasilla chili cheese, spicy dill, and more. Eat them right out of the bag or try them in your favorite recipes. You'll love this snack. Visit your local H-E-B and southernrecipesmallbatch.com to see the power of the rinds.
Southern Recipe pork rinds.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the Titleist pre-sale fitting event happening August 16th through the 22nd. Be one of the first to feel the difference with the new Titleist T100, T100S, T200, and T300 irons. Featuring new materials and new refinements that power new precision. 4 irons to give you maximum performance for any type of dedicated golfer. Go to worldwidegolfshops.com and register to get a free custom fitting for your new T-Series irons today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
For the ones going above and beyond. For the ones reaching out, helping out, and lending a hand. For the ones people count on. You can count on Grainger. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, backed by 24/7 customer support and specialists to help with hard-to-find products. Because you've got everyone's back. We've got yours. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You spent a long time tucked into your home, tucked into your auto-playing streaming box. Not anymore. Now you can untuck a road trip, untuck a Saturday tailgate, then untuck a Sunday tailgate too. Untuck whatever you damn well please. And if you want to look good while doing it, untuck with the shirt made for this moment. Untuck it. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Find your perfect fit at untuckit.com or one of 80 plus Untuckit stores nationwide. Use code SUNNY for 20% off your first purchase.
Today on Hey Culligan, sustainability and better water. Here's Sam.
Hey Culligan, I'm really into sustainability. My clothes, my utensils, my food. But how do I get more sustainability from my water?
Super question, Sam, and the answer is an always-on drinking water system from Culligan, which helps eliminate the equivalent of 15 billion single-use plastic bottles a year.
Whoa, that's a ton of sustainability.
416,000 tons, Sam, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Bet you can tell me when the last Spurs championship was, but can you name your congressman? Sports or politics? The answer is obvious. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
J. Will and Zubin on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Revisionist history is always fun, isn't it? Is Edwin running everything? Pledge, I see your hands off.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him a little hands-on training.
Hi. Yeah, generally, just making sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a big fan of people touching my stuff, but
I understand that. As a passenger, I'd like to know when the co-pilot's in charge. Although I guess that's some of the reasons why they don't tell you everything that's going on in the cockpit. But now that I can see in, holy crap, man, you're scaring the crap out of me. Edwin's new. He's training. He's shadowing Pledge. That's scary enough. You doing all right, Edwin? Thumbs up? Thumbs down?
Absolutely.
All right, you're doing good. You sure?
No, you're having a great show so far.
Okay, you doing all right?
I think he's all right.
Edwin's. We're gonna have to indoctrinate Edwin the right way and get him out to the Brew Pub one of these days. I mean, he went to Johnson, so
close enough.
He's in the area. Because and I've been out sick for a couple of days. Have you been to Brew Pub? They got Yingling, right?
I haven't been in the last 2 days.
What's wrong with you? I've been sick. What's your excuse?
Well, I've been working.
Oh, seriously? All right, we'll figure it out. I got to get over this
need
crap
to know if
so
they
I can
have
go get some Yingling. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
I'm pretty sure you can fire off a text and find out.
I'm pretty sure I can, but by the time he gets off the golf course, what are we going to know? I mean, it's one of those things. But Edwin, we got to at some point soon. We're going to have to go have drinks with Edwin because I can't just get to know this guy on a screen because that sucks, right, Edwin? And then I got to figure out everybody that he knows that because he graduated 2 years before my daughter and they went to the same high school, and so we run in we run a lot of circles. I know a lot of people that he might know, so gotta get the dirt, right?
Yeah, a lot of Johnson's a popular school in the Northeast area, so absolutely.
There you go. All right, when you think about revisionist history, the argument and everything that ended and Yingling is available at the Brew Pub and the Angry Elephant.
See,
Appreciate
ask and you shall receive.
Absolutely. Well, I need to know, and I figured they would. Revisionist history. Okay, we'll try this for the fourth time. Although now we're running up against the time wall. We might have to get into this after we talk to Sarah Barshop from ESPN about the latest with Deshuan Watson. But you remember that argument that broke up the Golden State Warriors dynasty?
Yeah, it was Draymond's fault.
And Kevin Durant. They, and we all know that Kevin Durant's got wet paper thin skin, right? He just, we'll just have to get into this later. But Tello Franklin says, Edwin sounds like a hostage. Just smile and say you're doing good. Come on. But Tello, dude, the first time you have to talk on the radio and 100,000 people are listening to you, I want you not to poop your pants too. Hey, Edwin was fine. He has no idea what we're doing. I just met the guy 2 hours ago, and that was over a screen.
I just let him touch the board.
Well, has he run the board? Edwin, have you run the board yet?
I ran it on the weekends.
On the weekends?
Shows, laying down the law.
Okay. And you're able to do some of that. You went to school for RTF. You went to UT Arlington, great broadcasting school. But there is a part of broadcasting that, sometimes you get thrown to the wolves and you're prepared for it. And then other times you're not, and you're not sure what to do. And that's what I've done to you here, which isn't fair, right? Because you didn't know I was going to throw you on, but I didn't know Pledge was going to let you drive the bus.
Love talking about sports. You can ask me anything. Talk to you about it.
See, and we're going to get to know you as we continue here, but we got to go to break because Sarah Barshop from ESPN is coming up. Then we'll get into the Draymond, Kevin Durant stuff as we continue here on the Blitz. But the latest on Deshuan Watson and his lawyer speaking today, Sarah Barshop from ESPN, who covers the Houston Texans. She will join us next here on the Blitz. But first, let me tell you about Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram truck, part of the Ancira Auto Complex. It is easy for me to tell you about and recommend Ancira because I am a long-time Ancira customer. Through the years, I've bought many vehicles from Ancira, including one that I'm driving now. My daughter's car, my niece's car are from Ancira. Half the people at the radio station drive Ancira vehicles, and it's because of their great customer service before, during, and most importantly, after the sale. That great customer service is why Ancira has been a top family-run dealership in San Antonio for decades. They're going to make sure you're getting the vehicle you want with all the options and features that you're looking for. They'll give you great value on your trade-in, the best rebates and financing options available, and of course, price made Ancira number one. Price keeps Ancira number one. So think Ancira. Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram truck, part of the Ancira I-10 complex on I-10 West between Wurzbach and Huebner.
Every football season history is made.
Prescott walks the dog. Touchdown.
Every football season history is written.
Perfect strike to Amari Cooper.
San Antonio Sports Star has been alongside history as the exclusive voice of the Dallas Cowboys. Nobody knows the Cowboys as we do. Not even close. Catch every touchdown and every play here. Exclusively on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Are you looking for a job where you can have tons of fun and make great money? Twin Peaks is the team for you. We're looking for Twin Peaks girls, cooks, bussers, barbacks, and more. Text WORK 4TP to 85000 to apply. That's WORK, the number 4 TP to 85000 to apply.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get access. Well, not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month and no contract. Plus, get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
This is the home of the Cowboys, Rangers, and Aggie football. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Jason Minix, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Glad to have you along on a Wednesday. I'm Jason Minix, and I tell you what, quarterbacks that wear number 4 in the state of Texas dominating at the headlines. Dak Prescott and Deshuan Watson normally would be a pretty good matchup in a preseason game, which the Cowboys and Texans have on Saturday night, but you're probably not going to see either quarterback. We know we're not going to see Deshuan Watson in uniform, but his lawyer was on the TV today, and if you've been watching ESPN all day, you've seen Sarah Barshop all over the ESPN Sports Centers talking about what Rusty Hardin had to say today, and she is joining us now on the Blitz. Sarah, I know it's been a busy day. I appreciate you taking the time.
Of course. Thanks for having me on.
I go back and I think about, why did Rusty Hardin have a press conference today? And I know it was essentially to respond to some things that Tony Busby announced the other day, but what did you learn from Rusty Hardin today?
Well, I'll say first, I thought it was really interesting that he was talking about, and both lawyers have done this to be fair, we don't want to try this through the media as he holds a press conference. And the point he kind of made was, if Busby's going to come out and say the stuff that we normally keep private, we're going to have to respond. But what I took from the press conference was that he acknowledged that Deshuan Watson is being investigated by the FBI, at least the allegations made against Deshuan Watson are being investigated. And then he also added, well, Deshuan Watson talked to the FBI, and one of the plaintiffs who is suing Deshuan Watson is allegedly being investigated for extortion. So it was a short press conference, but there's kind of a lot thrown in there. And it was a last-minute press conference, and so I was really curious, how it was going to go. And it was him mostly saying, this is what's going on, and trying to explain Busby's comments about the FBI.
It is interesting as Sarah Barshop joins us here on the Blitz. You talk about kind of thrown together last minute, and Rusty Hardin's a pro, and he seemed a little unsure with some things today, stumbled a little bit more than I'm used to seeing Rusty Hardin stumble. And again, like you said, he will complain about Tony Busby trying to try it in the court of public opinion, but then talk about the allegations and reading the text message from the one that does claim force, and then reads the text message that she wanted to meet with him again. And I was trying to figure out where he was trying to go with that.
Yeah, that was another thing, and I guess the only really thing I can compare it to is when Busby did something similar. He did provide us with this text printouts. This was back in April, I believe. And today Rusty read off the text, and, there's no context, not saying what did or what didn't happen. The truth is we just had no context for the text message other than what he was reading us. And so, again, it was just an interesting strategy, to hear him say, this is what's happening and here's some proof, which is what he was saying.
Sarah Barshop with us here on the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. You have covered this story from the beginning for ESPN and your coverage with the Texans. Everything that has happened to the point of Deshaun being at training camp, what do you see as the likely outcome, and how soon do you think we will get there?
So you would think the logical step is that the NFL puts him on the commissioner's exempt list. But I think the one thing I'm kind of trying to figure out is if he were to go on the exempt list, and there have been criminal complaints but no criminal charges. So if he were to go on the exempt list before there are any criminal charges, or if there even are, what would have to change for him to get off the exempt list? Because we know the timeline of this case, unless there's a settlement and a resolution is reached that way, this could be this could maybe not be resolved for a long time if it goes to trial. And so, I think that's why the NFL kind of hesitates to do anything if they haven't done it yet. Well, if nothing changes, why would they put him on the exempt list? And so then you look at the options the Texans have if they're the ones forced to make this decision. And I thought maybe they would put him on injured reserve, because he was talking to the trainer on the sideline. He was working on the side field at one point during practice, which is usually reserved for injured players. But then David Culley said on Monday, hey, he's not injured. He's just in the building, doing what we asked him to do. And so you get to the situation where you think, is he going to be a healthy scratch on game day? I mean, that they don't want to use a roster spot on him, because if he can't play, that's a roster spot being taken away that could help the team. So that's a long way of saying I don't really know. But right now, it seems like it's trending to him being a healthy scratch if the NFL is not going to put him on the exempt list.
It is so bizarre, Sarah, because I think about it feels like the Texans are hoping the NFL will bail him out by putting him on the commissioner's exempt list, which is what it was designed for. The fact that you don't have to have proof of anything, you just have to kind of be embarrassing the NFL, and you can go on that list until everything gets resolved. At least that's what we thought it was designed for. You go back and you see what happened with Zeke Elliott and a couple of other players, yet making them come to work every day just makes it uncomfortable for everyone. And I know because of COVID, we don't have the access that media is used to having, but what are players telling you privately, if you're able to get that kind of access, to what it's like having Deshaun in the building?
I talked to one player who's very close to Deshaun, and he kind of said, it is what it is. Like, that's the situation. They just treat it as, yeah, he's there. It's, no, everyone I've talked to has claimed that it's not a distraction. He's there, he's in the meetings, but everyone knows who the starting quarterback is. And that's kind of the way they're operating. Tyrod Taylor is the starting quarterback for this team. And so I think because of the way the Texans have handled it internally, at least, the players feel like, okay, well, it's, we can't let that become a distraction, because it's not like we're getting mixed messages about what's going to be happening. And it's not like Deshaun's taking snaps. He did some individual reps, but he hasn't taken part in a single team drill during training camp. And so I think that has kind of helped with the players kind of out of sight, out of mind, because it's not like they're getting game reps or any sort of team reps with him during practice.
It's interesting, and I'm wondering, because there are so many new guys, like 50 on this team, how many real good friends that Deshaun has left. And I wonder if that is actually helping it become less of a distraction, because most of his friends have moved on to other teams.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. You look around the locker room and it looks nothing like the team, that we saw last year. I do think, at the beginning of camp, the media, would ask, a couple players, and most said, I'm not going to talk about that. A couple people stood up for him, just saying, Deshaun's my guy. Whitney Merciless specifically, said good things about he wasn't saying, what Deshaun did was okay or anything. That he just said, I support him and, it'll be handled how it's handled. But, he wasn't saying anything negative about Deshaun either. And most guys have kind of stayed out of it. But I think I agree. There's really not that many players you can ask about it because a lot of them weren't on the team last year and have never played with Deshaun.
What do you expect to see Saturday night? I know the Texans might have surprised some people with a win in Green Bay, but you got a preseason game against the Cowboys on Saturday night. What do you expect to see out of Houston?
I expect to see a little bit more of the starters play. And to me, what was interesting looking at this preseason game is in camp, the defense has been beating the offense. I mean, pretty consistently in camp. This defense has looked really good. They've been flying around, been taking away the ball. And I said before the Green Bay game, it'll be interesting to see how Jordan Love does, because I think that we'll get a better idea as, okay, is the Texans offense bad or is the defense actually pretty good? Love looked pretty good against this defense. So I'll be curious again with more starters playing a little bit longer against the Cowboys, what this defense will look like and whether they can be as successful as they were, at least in general, and maybe not against Jordan Love, but as they looked over the course of the game as they did in week 1.
Sarah Barshop, ESPN NFL Nation reporter covering the Texans. Always appreciate the time. Thank you. And I'm sure as more happens with Deshaun and court proceedings, we'll reach out again.
Absolutely. Would love that.
Thank you very much, Sarah Barshop. Follow her on Twitter. If you're a Texans fan, she does a fantastic job both on the field and in the courtroom. And in the courtroom today, what was just interesting because Rusty Hardin, as she talked about, just, held a press conference to respond to Tony Busby by saying, if you and the media would quit covering Tony Busby, we wouldn't have to do all this.
And he wants to leverage his civil lawsuits. He wants out of those civil lawsuits. He knows those lawsuits have no future in the long run. But he wants to be out there and promote himself in the lawsuits and try to get Deshaun to settle them, to pay them the money so he can ride into the sunset.
And all right, so that's what he wants to do. That makes sense. So, if you quit giving him attention, that's not going to be there because as Rusty Hardin said, it doesn't do anybody any good if you're trying this in the lawsuit. But let me tell you about this text message that one of the ladies sent Deshaun.
If you remember, the whole tone of these issues changed in March. There was a lawsuit by a woman named Ms. Solis. Then there was another lawsuit, and the third lawsuit, for the first time, alleged some type of force and very, very descriptive language as to how mortified she was and how upset she was. The woman's name is Shanae Lawson. Shanae Lawson is not a woman that has made a criminal complaint, but she's certainly sued. And if you look at her petition, it is very graphic as to how horrible this experience was and how she was harmed. She is the woman that is being looked at as far as an investigation for federal authorities and how she went about this. But let me just read to you. If you look at that petition, I'm going to read to you text messages that she sent to Deshuan Watson the very day after the massage.
But let's get mad at Tony for trying this in the media.
And that she's talked to people about. Hey, Deshuan, so the massage was that morning. And I urge you to go look at that petition and see if that email or text rather is consistent with her petition.
And he's right. I mean, there were some that said there were multiple encounters that made him uncomfortable. Well, why would you have a second one? But that's not the point here, Rusty Hardin. And you can't complain about Tony Busby trying things in the media and then you do the exact same thing. That doesn't make sense. You're doing your job. And we get that. The one thing that that Rusty Hardin did say today that I found very interesting was on the lack of contact between Deshuan Watson and the NFL.
I think the NFL has gotten a bad rap publicly about this thing, and I'd say this with some reservations because I don't want the NFL to think I'm trying to cuddle up to them, because they may reach a conclusion down the line we disagree with, and we'll be fighting with them. So I don't want to be misunderstood. But here's where they've gotten a bad rap. They're doing their own sort of investigation that we're totally unaware of, not consulted about. Question is, has he talked to them? The answer is no. And here's the reason. The NFL regularly tries to not reach out to the defendant and his lawyers and seek evidence from them until the criminal investigation's over. Historically, and I've run it, they want to make sure they don't interfere with the criminal investigation. When the criminal investigation is over, then they will do their own separate finishing evidence. They have, as y'all know from the media, they have apparently talked to some of the women. I have had no contact with the NFL except to call initially and say, whenever the time is appropriate, we will fully cooperate. You let us know. And that's going to be the case. But right now, we're not aware of what they're doing other than what we read in the media. And that's the way it should be.
You know, it's so interesting and so rambling. And I'm glad to hear Sarah Barshop, who was just on with us a few minutes ago, talk about how hastily thrown together this was, because it did seem very disorganized from Rusty Hardin. But I do find that interesting answer there about the NFL and the investigation. But at the same time, isn't that why he should be on the commissioner's list? You know, I understand the NFL doesn't want to get in the way of a criminal investigation, but you can still put him on the commissioner's list and get him off the Texans practice field.
It would make the most sense, but we have yet to see them do anything without actual criminal suits filed against someone. The Ray Rice situation, there was an obvious hitting of a woman. The Zeke situation, he had the allegations from the Ohio Police Department against him. There
allegations, not charges. There are allegations right now against Deshuan Watson. There are 10 criminal complaints that we know of that the Houston Police Department is investigating. And on some level, the FBI is involved, although the FBI might be looking at it from a Deshaun side on whether or not there was an extortion attempt. But that's what an allegation is I'm accusing you of doing something. Whether criminal charges actually get filed, I just can't believe that the NFL is allowing this to go on, allowing Deshaun Watson to be listed as QB4 on a depth chart because he won't hold out because he'd be subject to fine. And the Houston Texans can't send him home because, well, that's against the rules. The only person that could do anything about this and save the embarrassment for the organization and the player, and quite frankly, the league, is Roger Goodell. And why Roger Goodell hasn't put him on the exempt list, I don't know what rule he thinks he needs to follow here, but I think this is what that rule was designed for. You've got a situation that can't be resolved. I'm sure the Texans would rather not pay him, but legally they can't. So put him on the exempt list. Because I have a feeling, based on what you're reading in Sports Illustrated, at least two of those ladies are very unhappy with the NFL investigation and the fact that Deshaun Watson is on the news every day running out to practice. Although Rusty Hardin did say that he thinks in his press conference today, he said he thought the Sports Illustrated writer had a certain agenda based on some of the emails she has said in the way she has phrased things in regarding Deshaun Watson. And again, I expect to hear that from his attorney. But the one guy that can make all this go away is Roger Goodell. Now, once training camp is over officially and we get into the regular season, I don't know what you do with him. I just can't believe Roger Goodell has allowed this to go on for as long as he has.
And mainly just because of the bad look it paints the league. The league itself is having to see this in the news cycle every day, where if he's not allowed to come to the Texans facility or show up, all of a sudden the narrative would start to go away in terms of the everyday questions about Deshaun and being in the public light and painting the league in that light every single day.
Well, I mean, yeah, and again, I go back to one of the things that Rusty Hardin said. And this is the point of court of public opinion stuff. We've all read parts of, if not all of, 22 court proceedings. Very detailed, very graphic, and those are all allegations. Now, Rusty Hardin said that they're going to continue to cooperate with the FBI and everybody else.
We will continue to cooperate with them in any way they want. We have from the first cooperated with the Houston Police Department, cooperated with the District Attorney's Office, and we'll cooperate with the FBI, and ultimately, down the line, we'll cooperate with the NFL because we know Deshaun has done absolutely nothing wrong.
Because we know Deshaun has done absolutely nothing wrong. And that is one of the things that Rusty Hardin has to fight against. You know, that one allegation, he mentioned that lady today and then read a text message that she sent the next day about how graphic and mortified she was, but yet she was willing to see him again. He's trying to discredit her in the media. I certainly understand that approach. I do question sometimes the ladies that had multiple encounters, but I understand it's Deshaun Watson. It's the quarterback of the Texans. I can see the draw there too when you listen to their side of the story. But I think it's hard for Rusty Hardin to say you've done absolutely nothing wrong, which might mean you haven't broken a law, and it might be hard to prove that you broke a law. But for a lot of people in their mind, mentally, dude, you're kind of gross. You have done something wrong.
And while that's important, he says they've done nothing wrong. He also said there may be a point where I have to do something and bring litigation against the NFL. Maybe the NFL is scared if they place him on the exempt list, all of a sudden lawsuits will be brought against the league. And if this does show up as nothing wrong, then they would be subject to some hefty penalties that they would have to pay out.
See, I don't think so, because the exempt list means you still get paid. He's going to get paid. He's just not going to have to show up for work. If they suspended him without pay for an allegation that proved to be false, that he won in court, then yeah, you might have to make up for some lost wages. But on the exempt list, I believe you get 100% of your salary. It's just you go away and you deal with your stuff. Financially, you're not impacted. You might lose bonuses that you're not going to get. Well, you know what? You're a 4-string quarterback. You're not playing anyway. So whether you're on the exempt list or in the roster, you're not getting those performance bonuses. Deshaun, it's not there. I think if Rusty, and I'm nitpicking here, but if he would have said, because we believe Deshaun has done nothing illegal, that goes a long way further than nothing wrong. You see what I mean? And I know I'm nitpicking there, but Rusty Hardin's a smart lawyer. And again, trying it in the media when he's blaming Tony Busby for doing that. And he says he's going to be his lawyer until he's fired. And I guess that's how every great lawyer is. I'm going to bill you until I'm not. It's just an interesting situation. And I go back to Roger Goodell. All he has to do is put him on the exempt list. That's it. Put him on the exempt list, and you're good. Well, and let all this figure itself out.
The countdown is on to week 1 because that's when the move, I believe, has to be made.
Well, I mean, quite frankly, maybe Roger Goodell is saying, you know what? I'm going to keep him on the roster. I'm going to make him show up for practice every day because Houston is like the 4th largest TV market in the country, right? Aren't they number 4?
Yeah.
We got a team there that isn't worth talking about, but they do have a 4-string quarterback that's going to generate news in Houston. Because if it wasn't for Deshaun Watson, what would we be talking about when it comes to the Houston Texans? Maybe. I mean, I look at that and I mean, he doesn't do it for that reason. But it is kind of interesting that the one thing about the Texans that we have to talk about is about the player that isn't going to be there. I mean, it really is incredible when you think about the Texans and where they are. I mean, the fantasy marathon is on right now. It's kind of weird seeing Phil Yates and Matthew Berry wearing T-shirts, but they are. You know, all the rankings are out on all the great players. Is Houston anywhere on there?
They're like tier 4 running backs, I think.
Tier 4? Who?
Phillip Lindsay, Mark Ingram, David Johnson.
Okay, sure. I mean, you got to be in a deep league to get to that level. I mean, you look at, and I do think Tyrod Taylor's probably going to be better than a lot of people think. And it was good to see that team play the other night against the Green Bay Packers, because I think that team needed some non-Deshuan Watson talk. Now, granted, I was at Chicken and Pickle. It was on the TV, but I was kind of half-ass paying attention. But it was good to see them actually go out there, play football, and execute without Deshuan Watson. Because at the same time, you just look at that and you go, what are they doing? I mean, I was happy for David Culley, even if it's just a preseason win, kind of like Ben DiNucci. Enjoy him while you can. Enjoy that touchdown pass, because you're not long for the job. You're just not. All right, we're out early. We've got Texas Rangers baseball coming around the corner, brought to you by New Brakes. Don't forget R&R in the morning. Rob Thompson and Rudy J, they'll get you going from 7 to 10. It is halftime tomorrow afternoon, or at least you'll get part of that show, and then we'll start late because we got afternoon baseball here on the San Antonio Sports Star. Have a good night, everybody. Oh, I still got 10 seconds? My clock is that far off? So now I've got to watch James Pledger count me down. 3, 2. All right, have a good night, everybody. Rangers.
ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.